Hello, guys. Just wanted to share interesting things. These are kind of just curiosities, I guess I have, within me. I came across this video that got me on a quest of looking for more information in regards to it. So I came across this video about the Mystery Flesh Pit National Park explained. Now, supposedly this is somebody's imagination, they created different flyers and brochures and things. It's actually a pretty elaborate hoax, if it's a hoax. I went looking for any other information into this anomaly, but just to show you how big how far they went to elaborate on this hoax. This is the mysteryfleshpitnationalpark.com, and they have all of these, and of course you can make this stuff in Photoshop, we know that, and they've embellished some things, I guess. They put some photos, this guy over here on the right, and looks like he's old Western Wild West guy. And if you're studying Tartaria, you know that this Wild West idea thing is false, that whole narrative. But so we have a rendition, they made some little image of the flesh pit on the left. Now, this is supposedly the artist's mock-up of what this is supposed to be. So this kind of set me down a little rabbit hole. I was like, let me just go see what all this is. And some of the stuff looks like it can be photoshopped, especially some of these signs and stuff. And obviously this is, CGI imaging. This is somebody's, I guess, art project. Maybe they had to do this for school. I went looking for a company called the, Anodyne, and didn't come up with a whole lot. There is an Anodyne up here, arrow, but yeah, I'm just kind of, browsing through this whole narrative of what this could possibly be, since, it seems to be pretty elaborate on some level. And I mean, they concocted even, all of this stuff, bronchial forests, which, the trees do breathe and stuff, but this is supposed to be some part of the pit, I guess. And then, they've made all these other signs and things to go along with the narrative. Well, of the abhumans peer into the past, I mean, that's kind of weird. But as I said, it's pretty elaborate. What this, if this is, a hoax or whatever, it's a pretty elaborate hoax. And just makes me curious, because I went looking for, they claim this is in Gumption, Texas, and I couldn't find a Gumption, Texas, to be honest. And if there is one, it must not be on any map. They did say it's in the Permian Basin of Texas, where this supposed flesh pit is. But, they made this, I guess, fake proclamation by the president that there's a colossal subterranean organism of unknown origin and extraordinary proportions. They actually went that far to make a fake document. And then they just put some, illustrative caricatures in here just to kind of make it feel like something, I guess, maintenance and medic. And they even sketched out what this looks like. And they said that this thing was discovered after 1970s in the Permian Basin, which is where all the oil fields are. And so, yeah, this is their supposed visitor center. I mean, look at the details that this person went to create this supposedly, elaborate hoax. I mean, it's just weird. I'm like, why would someone go through all this trouble? I mean, are they just trying to fish for people who want to make movies on this? I was kind of confused. I'm like, if this is a hoax, why are they going through all these details? I mean, they detailed it out, going into the pit and doing all this stuff. It's very, very elaborately done. It's just kind of over the top in a way, though. And I get that, some of the stuff is just, it is over the top. They do have boring machines that can dig huge underground tunnels, but this is a concept artist thing, I guess. And I know that the mind has no bounds of, what it can create, but I mean, they even did this mining platform. What is all this? That's what I say. Like, if this is a hoax, that's what I've been, hearing. The narrative is just, this is an artist that has created all of this stuff. And yeah, you can see, I mean, this is kind of cheesy if this was actually an organization that was making a real expedition and stuff into this pit. But when you just go look at this information, it just makes you go, what is, I mean, they actually have like a 3D model supposedly in this place over here. This is supposed to be the interior of the facility. Wow, that's a lot of detail to have to go into Photoshop, and you make all this stuff and you change all the signs. You have to figure out a location that might resonate with what your project is, and then you manipulate the photo and you add your little detail of whatever the heck the pit is, in a 3D model form in the photo. And it's like, why? Why? And then they come up with organisms that they supposedly find inside the pit. You guys go look at this, because it's pretty curious, and look, here's like a photo of somebody supposedly inside the pit with its fleshy walls. And I mean, don't you find that strange? I find that highly odd that they would go so far. Mystery flesh pit. They said that it supposedly was closed in 2007 when they realized that this pit was dangerous. Mystery Flesh Pit National Park. I mean, this is very elaborate, even to the point that they have photos of the sign, photos of the park. And when you look at the images, it starts popping up all this stuff. You got wildlife safety. They show these like bug things, and you see how elaborate this got. I mean, they're doing all kinds of stuff with this. Now this is one of the photos I was talking about. They actually, and you can tell the words, the lettering on this sign are much brighter than the surrounding color in the photo. That's what kind of gives that one, a little like, yeah, that looks kind of photoshopped to me. They could have dulled that down a little bit, but it's just too bright considering what the color of the photo is. I mean, people are really creative. I give them that, but at the same time, that's a heck of a project. That took them a while to make, I guess, to really dig deep in on their, I guess it was a school project. I don't know. And then they just, created this whole world. They're showing it like it's a monster that's just under the ground. I don't really know about that, but there's some very strange places on Earth, and Mud Fossil University has found some interesting anomalies with the geographical forms on the planet. And you guys can check out his channel. He's a bit of an emotional character, so he's very sensitive to different ideas that you may present to him. And don't ever talk to him about flat Earth, that whole theory and philosophy, because he will totally turn his back on you. I only mentioned the term, not that I'm either here or there. I can't prove flat Earth is a thing or not. I believe more what the ancients knew, only because they were a little bit more intelligent than we are today. And we seem to be being lied to about everything in our existence. So I keep an open mind. But anyway, yeah, this whole flesh pit thing had me going. But I wanted to show y'all what I found, when I was doing my search on the flesh pit. I had looked in that Permian Basin and I went on Google Earth. I was like, well, that's all interesting and all that, because when you go look at the pictures on Google Earth, which I'm not going to do that right now because it's just, it's going to take up too much time. You guys can go look at all the stuff. It was mostly desert region where they had been drilling, there's some anomalous things that make you question, like, what are they doing in Texas? Big square area that was, barren. I thought it was strange. But then I decided, let me just go look at Fantasy Canyon. If you guys have never heard of Fantasy Canyon in Utah, I suggest you go check this stuff out online. So Fantasy Canyon is another anomalous place. It has some very interesting, what looks like melted stones. I mean, look at this. Nature doesn't make this stuff naturally. Look at that. I've, sort of perused through this a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when I found it. I was like, that is melted, with some sort of high energy weapon. Because nature doesn't melt things. And there's a guy who actually wrote a book. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's regarding America being Murica, or Mu, which is Lumeria. And that started clicking into place, making a whole lot of sense, because deserts are not natural, people. Hear me again. Deserts are not natural. They are evidence of war. That happened a long time ago, 2,000 years ago. I don't know. But I don't believe that we were ever supposed to have deserts. It's just not a natural thing. But the wildlife, transitions to survive, because that's what it's meant to do. And we have, I believe, this is my belief, that we have other beings that are here that are constantly creating life. Not just us, because we're just now starting our path of awakening to what we can do with DNA. But I believe that there have been other beings, whether like us or not, I do not know, never met them. But it is a sneaking suspicion that I have, that there are other beings that create life by mixing DNA and genetics, and that's all they do. You guys can research that in Dolores Cannon's work. They actually talk about it during sessions, that there are just beings. That's all they do. That's their job. They just make life. You guys check that stuff out. I mean, I'm already sold on that one. But so this is Fantasy Canyon, and it's pretty interesting. And, it will make you question, like, what in the world is this? Were these castles? Was this villages? Was this towns? I believe, because we know about there's some sort of great war, great cataclysm that happened, and it happened between Atlantis and Lemuria. And this kind of stuff will really get you wondering. And, when you've been through that whole Tartarian narrative and you've found some things there, to make you question what we know about our own existence, this only adds more to the equation. I mean, you can kind of see it was some sort of structure once upon a time, or it was a mountain or something, and it melted. So that got me looking, at Google Map, the Google Earth. And Fantasy Canyon is actually way over here. Okay, let's zoom out so we can kind of get a perspective on what region of Utah we're in. Okay, so we're in Utah. Salt Lake City is over here. Grand Junction. Let's zoom in again now. We're going in to Fantasy Canyon. That's what this little red area is over here. That's circled. And it's probably all throughout this that goes up to the right, which is also kind of weird because it kind of goes northeast. If this map is, has the correct orientation. And look at how, if this was water flow, why is it going this way, out this way? Because if water's going down, it usually starts flowing down towards the equator. So I was like, that's kind of weird. I don't know. That got me thinking about, like, what in the world are we looking at? So it's just zooming in, you can zoom into stuff as much as you can. But I was looking at that and I was like, okay, that's kind of where it is, I guess. And then what caught my eye were those black spots. I was like, what the heck? That looks like a cell phone. That looks like my phone right there. But why is it so black? Because water doesn't usually look like that. And forest, you see how the forest, I mean, if there's any green, which there's hardly any green, doesn't look like that. What is this? It's dark around the rim. And it has that weird grainy blackness. I mean, what? Can somebody tell us what this is? Anybody that, is associated with this facility that's over here? It's obviously some sort of mining operation, or what is that? The pit? I mean, I don't know. But then, you come over here to the west. It's like, okay, what is this? Y'all ever seen some stuff like that? I mean, I'm just curious. I just want to know, like, what is this? I just question, why does it have this dark outlining area? What is that? And then why is it in this shape? And these areas are much lighter than the surrounding area. Is this mining? I mean, I wouldn't know. But what is this black? If that's mining, why is that black? These are, just the things that I do. I get on one rabbit trail leads down to another, and I'm like, okay, I'm really curious. I want to know about this stuff. I don't think they're racetracks, y'all. Or derbies. No, I don't think, because look at the surrounding area. Look at all this other area, and then look at all this stuff. What? Why? Does anybody live around these parts? Let's investigate. We need to dig a little bit deeper. Go a little bit further in our curious natures. But you come over here and you got more of that. It's like, what? It's darker than the trees. No, I don't know what that is. I mean, is this a bottomless pit? I don't know. Is that some sort of water reservoir that's covered over with a big tarp? I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't. But that's just weird, because water usually reflects light, and even Google Earth, when you take pictures of water, it doesn't look like that. I don't know. I just find it unusual, and that they're all outlined. You have all these outlined shapes, and look at how they stand out in the surrounding area. When you start zooming out, they pop out like very stark contrast here. And Utah has some of the strangest areas to visit, and people are finding treasure everywhere across Utah, and giant bones and all this stuff. And even to this day, they're finding all kinds of stuff. What? Maybe it's water plants. I don't know, but that just odd. I mean, look, is this sewage? But where's the city? Where's the population? This seems like it's pretty deserted, but I don't know. I haven't been to Utah yet. I want to go all over the place. Look, isn't this interesting? And then I guess, I don't know, my Google Earth is odd, because it was giving me some weird squares with circles in them and stuff earlier. I'm like, I don't know what this Google Earth is doing. I don't pay for the service. It's kind of like this, where it puts things in squares and circles, and that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why are they doing all these circles in a square? I don't know. I don't trust NASA and Skynet Google. I don't trust them at all. I don't even like using this app, but I was like, well, let me go look at this because I just want to see if I can find this flesh pit, which I couldn't really find anything too weird. There's some kind of interesting things over there in that basin, but I mean, this we're not supposed to see all this desert. What we witness here is the remnants of a great war that happened a long time ago, and perhaps some aspect of ourselves remembers this, because look, it's just this whole area is just, and you can see like somewhere in this region, maybe even this red area, is the epicenter, and then it radiated outwards all around like a nuclear attack or something. And these areas obviously took the brunt of it, just constantly fighting. Look at this. And now they're wanting to, clear out all the trees all around here. Something is destroying our world. Look at how most of the land masses are devoid of trees now. This is something to note because most people don't take this in stride and know, they don't even know, they don't question. But most of the land is being destroyed and devoid of trees. And even in our cities and stuff, with the corporations that are paving everything and putting up buildings and parking lots, our world is disappearing. This Middle Earth, this Midgard, this Gaia, whatever this experience is, it's being diminished by us, partly because we don't bring it into our conscience of our awareness of what we are doing and the impact that it has, but by design, by some other being or beings or something, some other consciousness that wants us to destroy our own world. The home, the only home that we know in this experience is this one, and we are destroying it. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that. I'm truly curious about all of these strange anomalies in the world, and I just wanted to share some of these findings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave all these links for you curious souls out there that want to investigate further on all of this stuff that I've shown you today. I'm going to leave those links in the description box, and you guys let me know what you find. That's what I'm looking for. I want to share these findings, and somebody share your findings with me. Like, I love all the weirdest stuff of the world. If you've got weird, bring it, because I want to know about it. And if you want to have a one-on-one interview with me where we talk about these things, let's do that too, because I just want to interact with people. I want to reveal the hidden things. That's what I came here for. And I love it, y'all. I can't stop. I can't get enough of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put all this stuff in the description box for you, and I will see you on the next one, because I know there's something else down the pipe. I'm always finding weird stuff. It comes across my feed and I can't help but to click on it, and I'm going to share it with you as soon as I go kind of peruse through it and then find something interesting. And I will see you again on another one. Bye.